Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Monday, March 29th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everybody that's coming in. Good to see everybody. Hi Maddie, hi Ronnie. We had a little oops, I had to reboot the broadcast. So I am seeing everybody now, thank you. Good to see everybody. Come on in. All right, announcements. So Wednesday, the 31st, Ruth Sanderson is going to be doing a demo in her group. I would highly suggest that you go to that. You'll have to go in it. Yeah, it wouldn't be live without an oops. So you'll have to go into her group on the 31st, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. She's going to do the Fox's Journey. Then on Thursday, April 1st, Jillian Wilson is live with us. And she is, as you remember, artist, illustrator, coloring book designer, and she is the publisher of Jolt Book. And she will be here with her Easter egg book. So we'll play with that and have fun with that. Then on Tuesday, April 6th at 7 p.m., Jeff Haney will be here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to be finishing his piece that we started on. And I suggest you be here for all events, or at least there for Ruth and here with Jillian and here with Jeff, because he is so much fun. He really is. Oh, good. You got the Jillian egg book today. Hi, Mary. So this is the piece that we're doing for Jeff, with Jeff, our Parisian cat. And by the way, you guys, I have seen your postings of this. I've mentioned this before. Absolutely beautiful. We're having so much fun with this. All right. Zoom in. Cats meow. All right, good. We're all set to go. Zoom out. Zoom out. There we go. All right. I'm so glad to see everybody. You know I love my peeps. Okay. And then this is the fairy that I was just working on, Enchanted Fairies. I was using metallic. Lila got the group some metallic pens that we were working with, that I was working with. And I did the border with them, did the wings, did the bottom of the wings in pencil, and then did everything in glitter. My peeps love me back. There we go. So yeah, that turned out beautifully. I like it. And you know, guys, I was just experimenting with this, so I just wanted to see how that would work out. Okay. So let me go ahead and get my little paper here. Yeah, the glitter is what made the picture. So let's see what kind of trouble we can get into tonight. Welcome to everybody that's in the room directly. Welcome to everybody that's in the observation deck watching us, aka the balcony. You know that I like to do 1 or 2 projects an evening. So I think to start off, let's see here. There's my patterns that I was doing with my metallic pens last night. I'm sorry, Ronnie, what's too early? Stephanie, welcome. No, I don't think Wanda's here yet. Oh, wait a minute, though. I don't think she works Mondays. So, yeah, she'll be in here. Okay. All right, everybody. Sound check, please. You know what that means when I say sound check. Okay, so this is the piece that I'm working on. Zoom out. Zoom in. Zoom out. Zoom out. Okay, I'll use my indoor voice. Oh, I mentioned trouble, so you asked if Wanda was here. I gotcha. Okay. I love you guys. You're the best. You really are. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play around with this piece. And, oh, I know you love me. You don't need to say it back because I always say it to you guys. All right. So there are my oh-hoo-hoos. I've got the 2 sets now. I've got the narrow and I've got the wider oh-hoo-hoos. Now, I want to show you something that I did on my pens while I'm thinking about it. I still need to swatch my new ones from Lila, which are the Zeyar, Z-E-Y-A-R. That's the ones. And what I did is I swatched them onto cardstock, which I put in my notebook, which are my oh-hoo-hoos. And what I want to show you is I numbered them. And then I've got a little master notebook that I use. So here are my oh-hoo-hoos right here. And I just put the corresponding number so I can see what my color is. So I know that some of you guys, Rita from Guatemala. Hello, Rita. ¿Cómo estás, muchacha? Okay, so I know some of you guys, you don't like to have to number your pens, but it works out really well. So for example, this is a number 7, and that tells me that that's what that's going to look like. So there's an idea for you. These are my paints, my Arteza paints, metallic, which really I should label what they are. but this has been very helpful as well. Oh, bien, Rita. Tango amore para ti. Yes, Rita is from Guatemala. So this has been really helpful. These are my Arteza metallics. So these little puppies are in my tube, in the tubes, and I can go ahead and see how these puppies will look when I go ahead and put them in my books. Okay. Alrighty. So I thought that I would go ahead and play with this chameleon a little bit. And this is from Animals of the World. That's the name of the book. And I was working on this a while back. And I still want to give you some unique and new ideas to work with this. Absolutely, Lila, you should do that. Anytime you have a new paint like that, you should make a reference with it. Okay, so let's play with this a little bit. Now, my Ohuhu metallics have a bigger tip than my other pens, which I just got in. And these are the smallers. So be aware that if you buy metallics, that they're going to have different tip sizes. Hindsight being 20/20, I wish I'd gotten the smaller in the Ohuhus, but it's not a deal breaker at all. Because I can still get into trouble with them while I'm demonstrating when I'm showing you. I meant that in a positive. Okay. So, what I'm going to do and then of course before you use your metallics, just go ahead and use them on a piece of paper. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, and practice with them. Make sure that you're comfortable and you get acclimated to the flow. Now, I haven't had any problem with these leaking through. Hi, Mary. Welcome. Mary Perkin, P-E-R-C-U-N. Did I pronounce your name correctly? Mary, don't be shy about commenting in the group, asking questions. If you have any advice, you're welcome to present it. This is why I do lives. Now, what I like to do with my metallics is I'll go ahead, like in this case, I'll outline and then go ahead and fill in. Did I lay down color pencil first? When I was doing other parts of this, I was doing this in both marker and colored pencil. So I'm doing mixed media with this project. And of course you want to spray this anything that you start, you spray it with Krylon, Fixative, clear. Yeah, some of this is chalk. Well, I take that back. Yeah, the pastel. Zoom out. You're welcome, Julie. Now, you want to get a lay of the land with your metallics, like I said. As with anything else, you just need to get used to the touch of it. So Mary, as I was saying, don't be shy. Questions, comments, suggestions? The only wrong question is the one that you don't ask. Okay. Now, I will be using different media on this, like I said. And I'm flipping this over and you can see that it's not bleeding through. And they dry like instantaneously. Well, very quickly. Let me use that word. And as Lila mentioned, you barely need to touch these to the page. So let me do this while I'm showing you. Just to give you a little perspective here, what I'm doing with this. So this part of the chameleon, I'm going ahead up in the front and using the metallics. I thought that would look really cool. All right, let's get this matched. There we go. Zoom in. Hello, Davida. Welcome. Now, I know I did metallics last night, but I thought with this chameleon, I was just demonstrating some ideas to how to use the metallics and the stencils that came with it. Davida, we've got a great group here. Don't be shy about speaking up. All right, now the reason I'm holding my pieces together here is I want to create that continuity. And then I'll get back to the individual page. And I think what I'm going to do, zoom out, is with this particular piece, I'm going to, unless I screw it up, confine my metallics to the head. We'll see. You missed saying goodnight? Okay. That's okay, Maddie. Now, you guys know that I'm all about dimension. I'm all about using various colors. I don't like flat coloring. Now notice how there's squiggles. Zoom in. Zoom in. Notice how there's squiggles on here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to divide up the individual scale. And put another color in there. Now, as I always tell you guys, it's not what I'm coloring that you should be concerned about, it's how I'm coloring it. So, if this doesn't thrill you, that's fine. I just want to show you the technique. And the other thing I want to emphasize to everybody that's new here, if you are new to coloring, do not hesitate to speak up if you have questions. Zoom out. If you don't say anything, we can't help you. And as I always tell people, this is meant to be a highly interactive room and group. Otherwise, I could just be doing YouTube. This picture is from Animals of the World book. Now, you guys know that I always encourage you to be creative, but don't be dumb about it. Don't be creative for the sake of being creative, okay? Now, these are the thicker markers that I have, the Ohuhu that I'm using. So if you use them on the side, you can get a lot of control. Stephanie, which ones are you liking or not liking? Is it bad that I don't like color pencils? I got a crayon pack that I never use. No, it's not bad. It happens. I've got those Crayolas cover color of the world, and a lot of us don't like them because they're too waxy. Maddie ended up calling the company tell them. Yeah, the Crayola, colors of the world, the skin tones. All right, now notice I'm using the side of the marker here. You want to minimize your flow as much as possible. Oh, Lila called the company. I was going to say it was either Lila or Maddie. Zoom in. Okay. I mean, I really abhor throwing anything away. I'll probably, when I'm out and about, donate them to my local, to a nursing home, and they can use them. Okay. Now, the neat thing is, even though I've got the wider tip on these particular markers, oh yeah, I've got Millie Marotta. I sure do. Oh, which reminds me, guys, as I announced, I am reviving the affiliate links. It's going to take me a while to get it put back together. The first time I was in it, Amazon ended up closing my account because I had listed that I would be promoting both on YouTube and Facebook, and unbeknownst to me, if you don't promote where you say you're going to promote, they kick you out. Well, I didn't know that, and I was so busy doing Facebook and getting our group up with the affiliates that I didn't get to the YouTube, and they ended up removing my, closing it, and I had listed tons of stuff. As you guys know. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out certain parts here of my piece. And I'll basically concentrate with the one color because that's what I want. Okay, now Julie, on the Marotta books, which I've done before on camera, if you go to the little magnifying glass and put in keywords with an S, Millie Marotta. It will bring up all the videos that I've done, and you can see how I do it. And to answer your question, no, I don't color in all the places on all of them. You can do both with it. It depends what you want to do with the piece. Zoom out. Okay, now what I want to point out to you in doing this part of the chameleon with the metallics is that you lose the lines in between. And so what I'm doing is I'm emphasizing the shape a little more of the scale. So that it gives the impression of scales. Because I'm literally painting over now the lines with these metallics. Now, when you use metallics, you want to try and be very efficient about how you cover. You don't want to have to go over a spot twice because you are wasting paint. Zoom in. Yeah, that's really neat, Julie, that you did that with a snake. You need to post that. Zoom out. Is that the snake that's on the whole page and curves like an S? It's got all those little segments in it. When you're using metallics, guys, you need to think of it as paint. Even though that you're holding it like you would a pencil, you're painting. And that's going to be a whole different look. Okay. La, da, da. This reminds me of the Bennett Klein one that I did with the lizard holding the girl in its mouth, eating the girl, holding her by her midsection. I love that picture. Zoom in. And I will be listing these metallics in my affiliate list. Like I said, I just got re-signed up with them, so we'll be getting that. Okay. Da, da, da. Zoom out. And don't forget, as I've always told you, when you start a piece out, it's going to look wonky, right? You don't ever, ever, ever want to throw out a piece midway. If you become dissatisfied with it, walk away from it for a while. And that's going to be especially important if you do something like a Millie Marotta, or you're doing a Kirby Roseanne's. Okay. And I still have that surprise coming for you, or several surprises. I'm just waiting on the mail. Zoom out. There you go. Now, also keep in mind, too, as you're using your metallics, that like any color or any paint, they're going to act differently, but especially these ones coming out of the pen. So Lila, what? You don't like coloring snakes? Da, da, da. You can't even look at snakes? Okay. Excuse me. Ooh, they give you nightmares. I'm so sorry. Now, don't forget when you're coloring, guys. Is that you always have the option of overriding what the artist has put on the paper. You've seen me do it a lot. I've done it in shading. I've certainly done it on Kirby Roseanne's books. You've seen me add things to that. I love how these dry so quickly. There we go. Okay. Now, let's see what I have. So I'm going to go ahead and use another shade of green. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Now, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but this is a different green. And that's another thing as you color, just because you can't see it directly, it doesn't mean that your brain isn't seeing it. We've talked a lot about that. Okay, you can see the different greens. Oh, Walmart's a great place to get books. Walmart's been carrying Kirby Roseanne's Fragile, what is it, Fragile? I think it's Fragile World. Now, notice here, too, that I'm starting to literally draw my own shapes. In some instances, and this is where I'm saying you don't have to completely lockstep into what the artist put in. Yeah, Lila, it's really funny. Adult coloring was very, very popular, excuse me, a few years back, as you know. And a lot of people were doing it. And then, as with anything, you know, it petered out. All right, now notice here I'm going over 2 blocks here, 2 lines. And then COVID hit, and coloring got very popular again. And as with anything, you know, it takes a while for stores to catch up to whatever's going on. So I don't know if that means that, I mean, here we are, what, a year now to the month with COVID. And who knows, Walmart may have decided that it's just not enough of a profit for them, especially when they're competing with somebody like Amazon. Okay. Now, I'm not going to do this whole piece tonight, obviously. But I want to do enough of it that you can see and get the idea of what I'm doing here. Da, 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 da. Hello, Melba. You were here earlier. What's going on? Or are you just greeting our new people? Da, da, So Melba, did you get your technology stuff taken care of, your router and so forth? I'm very anxious to get you back. Now, it's really funny as you're using these metallic pens. You really start to feel like you're painting, and that's really cool. Hi, Katie. Zoom out. Congratulations, Melba. All right, everybody see how this is coming together beautifully now? Now, it looks really wonky at the moment. But again, if you keep your vision of what you have in mind to do with this, it's going to make sense. With the caveat that if you need to make a change in the middle of it, that's fine. Now notice how I'm running this blue right here into the blue at the bottom. Zoom in. Melba 10. Wow. Okay, now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to reintroduce that light green into the mix. And this is the green that I used along the bottom. Oh my gosh, Katie. Did you have a talk with your daughter about not doing that again? Okay, so now I've got 2 shades of green here and my turquoise. And you can see how this is starting to come together now. How old is your daughter? 9 more days of no coloring? Oh. How old is she? Oh, 18. Oh, Asperger. Okay, I got it. But still, you know. Okay, so you get the idea what's going on here. Zoom out. And again, as the pieces get filled in, these are all going to make sense as to what's going on with the overall look. I know that sounds obvious, but you know I keep telling you that things are going to absolutely look weird as you're going along, especially a project like this. And that's why sometimes I even tell you to tint with a pencil. I could have gone through and tinted this whole thing if I wanted. Did you put a patch over your eye, Katie? I'd get some medical tape and put it over it. Okay. Zoom out. Everybody see how this is starting to make sense now? Okay, let's see where we are here. When I meant tint, Julie, it would absolutely cover up the pencil. That's what I'm saying, is that you can use pencil to lay out your color scheme if you want, and then go back and put your metallics over it. So yeah, it would cover it up completely. So look how cool this is starting to look because of the metallics. And again, I don't want you to worry. No problem, Julie. Zoom in. Zoom in. And this is where, as I'm telling you, don't worry about now some of the actual lines on here. My mind is switching over to almost like a painting mode. And if I'm covering 2 or 3 of the scales, that's fine. So the whole point of this exercise is to give you guys an idea about coloring this with the metallics especially. Zoom out. All right, so let me put this together here for you. Ah, that's not the piece. All right, everybody see how cool that's starting to look now? And this blue here that I put through, that was my chalks. And I also used chalks on this side too, and then I added extra colors with it. Now, that is another way too that you can lay out your color scheme. I want to give you a couple options. Is if you want, you could take your chalks and color in on top, and then put your metallics on it. Anybody have any questions or comments so far? Okay. So let me show you one more thing. This is the bottom half now, the jaw. And I'm going to go ahead and do a solid blue metallic along it. And that's going to give me a really neat outline here of the jaw and the mouth. Zoom in. Well, Katie, I'm glad you went to the ER. I'm going to need a new set of pens. Why do you say that? I hope this isn't running out already. It better not be. Okay, Now make sure that all your little spots are covered. Zoom out. All right, everybody see how beautifully now that's coming together? That's right, I will grab another color and you'll never know. How cool is this looking? You like it? Now, the really neat thing about this particular project too is that you can mix media very easily on it. Example, back here where I used my marker, I could definitely see putting in some metallic here to go ahead and change it up. Zoom in, zoom in. And the neat thing about doing that is that's going to go ahead and make this back part shimmer a little bit. So don't throw it away, Julie. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to go ahead and enhance this back area a little bit with my metallics. Not a whole bunch, but just enough to pick it up. Zoom out. Hi, Stace. And you don't want to overdo in the back end with your metallics. You want to go ahead and do enough that you tie this all together. Good night, Pearl. Everybody see how cool that's looking. Zoom out. So now you can see where I have added the metallic. And that's giving it a whole new dimension to your piece. All right. Questions, comments? I think what I'm going to do is just quickly finish up this nose because I want you to see how the look. Between the whole piece. It won't take me long at all. Yeah, he'll be in trouble in the wild because he shines. Yeah, well, that's why we keep him here in my studio. Or the other way to look at it is he's going to end up attracting a lot of the ladies if he shines, right? Zoom in. Yeah, I'm already thinking of doing that, Lila. Is putting a little bit of brown in there. Now, again, because what we're doing here, with it being a chameleon, you don't have to worry about being exactly in the lines. So if you decide that you want to extend a color, zoom in, zoom in, for whatever reason, you can. And that allows you to completely change the pattern. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add that little bit of brown. And I'm even going to take it over on top of the green a little bit. See how I'm doing that now? And that's the other thing about these colors is you can go ahead and depending on how you do it, you can overlay your color. Hi, Maria. Delighted to see you. I hope that you've been enjoying watching. Zoom out. And that was another thing I was going to show you when I was adding this brown, is that you can go ahead and put it on top of the color that you already put there. So now we've got that showing up through the entire thing. Now, all of this, it looks spotty, obviously. It looks a little rough, obviously. Zoom out. But you can see how this is all coming together. Oh, you've been praying for a place to be. Well, Maria, this is it. Delighted to have you. Better watch out. I'm going to start singing my song. We are family. Da, 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 da. Zoom in. Well, Maria, tell your friends, will you? Okay, now these are the areas that I chalked over when I first showed you this. And now I'm going to go ahead and highlight it with some of the metallics here. Well, Maria, you are always welcome. Chime in anytime that you want. Questions, comments, commentary? Okay, so let's take another look at this. Zoom out. Zoom out. Everybody see how this is beautifully coming together now? Well, Maria, come back when you can. Good night, Maria. Good night, Maria. Good night, Maria. So glad you could make it here. Okay. So I think I'm done with it for now. And what I want to do what I'm going to do is, and I recommend this to you guys as well, that when you're coloring something like this, you need to add your balance to the whole page. You're welcome, Marie. Okay. A little bit of work on the foliage. And the reason I'm doing that, like I said, is because I want that balance so I can start seeing what's going on around. Hi, Stephanie. So let's go ahead and I'm going to start tinting my leaves. Yeah, Pearl had to go for the evening. Okay. So now I'm using pencil. And as I said, I'm tinting my leaves for placement. And for those of you that don't remember or are new, the reason that we tint our areas is that you want to come in lightly so that you don't take away your creative choices when you go to color an area. See how cool now that's starting to look? And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and tint my like plants. And again, that will allow me to see what's going on with this whole piece. Okay, let's see. There we go. And right now, I'm not concerned. I need some bugs. Oh, you're exactly right. Like a ladybug or two. Now, I'm not worried about the popcorn effect that I'm getting. And that's the white that's showing through. Zoom in. Because I'm going to be doing other things with this leaf, these leaves. And don't forget to turn your pencil. All right. Zoom out. And that's why, again, I don't ever want you to get discouraged with a piece. So let's see what I've got in my arsenal here. Zoom in. And remember, when you want to darken a color, you darken it how? Repeated strokes. So I'm going a little darker at the base, and then I want lighter in the center. Everybody see now how I'm starting to tint this. And I also want you to see that when I'm going from the lighter to the darker, that you're not ever going to see a specific break in the color. So that's where you want to use your blender pencil or your white pencil, or the color that you're laying down. There are many ways to go ahead and transition your colors. Anybody have any question about that? Hi, Sherry. Had to make a trip to the litter box. Now, when you blend, don't scrub your paper, guys. There we go. And everybody see now how I'm getting a really good transition of color. Zoom out. Zoom out. All right, let me put the two pieces together. See how that's coming together beautifully? Now, the reason that this is going to work so well is the chameleon. I've been working with the metallics. And on the leaves, I obviously don't want those to be shiny, right? And that's where I can go with my pencils or my chalks. And remember when I told you, zoom in, zoom in. Remember when I told you that you always want to make sure a color goes through an item to the other side? So that's what I'm doing with this darkened leaf. I didn't end the darkened color on this inside edge. Now, the one thing that you need to watch for is to see where your shine area or light area is going to be. So you just want to make sure that that aligns. Okay. Zoom out. And again, blend your pencil. Do not scrub with it. All right. Now, unlike Jeff, I like to clean up my areas in between. He says that he doesn't worry about that, which is fine. Different styles. Zoom out. There we go. And now we can start to see how everything ties together here. Now, but wait, there's more. Here's where you can take a white pencil and highlight your light areas. And you can add just a little bit of white pencil to the rest of your leaf. Everybody see how we've got that white now shine down the middle, and we've got it right here. So given that these are leaves, I want to go ahead and soften that a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit of white on the ends and a little more white down the center. And that's going to make these leaves get really soft looking, and that's what we want. Zoom in. Some of you were asking about blending. And that's another method to do it. And what I want you to see now is how soft these leaves look. All right, let me clean all this off. Zoom out. Everybody see now how we've got a really nice looking set of leaves here. So now we've got the metallic chameleon on the face. We've got the leaves here now that are really going to start picking all the colors up here that we've got here. And then I've added a little bit of metallic in with what I did back here. And this is a combination of chalks and markers and the metallics. Now, I don't want you going nuts with this. You want this to be well thought out and consistent. So there's how this little guy is looking so far. Questions, comments? You guys are so quiet tonight. It's Monday. All right, let me change my eraser nib here. You got a Facebook notice so you can't talk? What does that? I don't know what that means, Lila. Okay, so there you go. So we're going to have really nice looking foliage here. You can't comment right now. You're kidding me. Wow. That is out of this world. Okay, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to a different project. You know that I like to do more than one each evening. Sometimes I'll stick with one the entire night, just depends. And I think that this is going to be an absolutely gorgeous piece. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put my scrap piece down. Okay, so you guys, I'm sure, remember this from a while back. This is out of The Night Before Christmas. And I'm going to go ahead and let me mark this on the back so I know what the heck is here. Okay. So give me a thumbs up if you remember this piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take advantage of the metallics because there's a couple things that I want to highlight in here. And this will be perfect to do that. Zoom in. So we've got some zoom in, zoom in. So I'm going to go ahead and get some gold on this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and highlight just a little bit of this. And that'll give me my shine. This is the metallic. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and get my gold pencil and finish up the rest of this. And what I want you to see here is by using the metallics in combination with the pencil, this is where you really get your neat shine. So I don't want you to think that with your metallics you have to go ahead and use it on everything on the piece. That there are going to be times when you just want to go ahead and highlight with it. Alright, so let's see what other areas we can do this. Because now we're getting into the small here. Now keeping in mind that this is grayscale, take that back, line art. I'm going to go ahead and emphasize the silver with my gray pen here, pencil. So I'm doing that on the line art, and then I'm going to go through with two things. Is I'm going to use a silver metallic pen. All right. And that's going to give me my shine. And I'm going to do this on the very outside here. Now again, it may not be blatantly obvious that you're doing this, but this is one of those things your mind sees it, your brain sees it, but your eyes don't necessarily. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my white pens. And I had done this before when I last worked on this, but it needs to be highlighted a little more. Is I'm going to go ahead and put my shine marks on here. So now we've got a number of really neat enhancements on those jingle bells. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab my marker. Now, light marker works beautifully on stuff like this because you can still see the gray through it. And remember, if you make multiple strokes with your marker, you're going to have your darker shade of it. So on the very outside, this is where I'm going a little darker. Please do not forget how well that darkens with multiple strokes. Everybody see that? Okay. And then what I thought I would do is pick up a little blue on those triangles or diamonds. And again, I'm not filling in those diamonds solid with the solid blue. I'm just going ahead and just adding a little bit, a few touches with it. Oh man, that looks so cool. Zoom out. Zoom out. Inhale confidence and exhale doubt. Okay. Hi, Dawn. How about this? Inhale confidence, exhale. No. Inhale doubt, exhale confidence. That sounds like that makes more sense. Okay, I hope you can see how cool those jingle bells look now. Zoom out. All right. Zoom in. Zoom in. So let's go ahead and work on the drum. You've got about 300 Santas in your Christmas boxes in the attic? Okay. Collected over a decade or two. Yeah. Okay, so I've got my pilot pens. And I'm going to go ahead and color these areas around the drum with the pilot pen because it's got very, very rich color. And this purple and this red will work well together. And the pens really work well, like I said, because we're got a really confined area here. Don't give up on your pens, guys, as a coloring medium. Zoom out. Let me prime this pen. And then what I'm going to go through here is add a little bit of the gold metallic again to some of my pieces. Now, sometimes what I like to do, guys, is if I've grabbed a pen or a certain color, I'll go ahead and I'll run with it and color up my multiple areas that I'm interested in doing. So if you see several areas where you want to go ahead and color something with the same tool that you have in your hand, go ahead and do it. Now, in this particular case, zoom in, zoom in. I'm going to go ahead and outline the rim of that drum in black. Just down the top. So remember, you don't have to color everything in. Outlining is a great tool. There you go. And then I'm just going to take a little wisp of gray. And just go ahead and put a little bit of line here. There you go. Zoom out. All right. Anybody have any questions or comments or thoughts? How cool this is looking? Now, when you have a jumble like this, you want to go ahead and start picking your pieces here. It's because of the perspective, Lila. It curves around. So there was the top there, but let's see if I can find that. I'll go ahead and create that. And I'll go ahead and put a little blue over here as well. There we go. Now I'm laying down a marker base for the hat here. And this is where you need to pick and choose what's what. Now, it's going to be especially important, zoom in, zoom in, that you work on your dimension. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and start shading in the top of the bonnet. We have a small bag of toys and we want each one to stand out, but you want it to be part of the whole. So I'm going to go ahead and put a nice little crease line in there. And I'm going to narrow down this red just a little bit. Okay. I'll look at it later, Lila. So now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of color now for that face. We don't need a very distinguishing facial color. Up to you how you want to do that. Okay, and then I'll carry that down here, of course. Okay. And as Lila pointed out, apparently I colored that hair as well. So I'll go ahead and we'll make that. We'll give her some black hair here. There we go. And then I've got a real teeny tiny bit of red for the lips. And it also looks like I've got a little bit of bow underneath the neck here. There we go. Now that makes sense. So we'll go ahead and put a touch of red on the lips. And, oh boy, these eyes are going to be a pain. Well, we'll see if we can put a little blue in there. Yeah, there we go. There we go. got her dress, which is down here. And I'm just going to put a little tinge of red on there to pick up the bonnet. And the lips. Now, I think I could go ahead and add a little bling to her necklace. Zoom out. Zoom out. But I think we've got this distinguished well, so she doesn't get lost. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of pink, I mean just a teeny tiny amount, and pop that for the cheeks. And I'm using marker, so in order that it doesn't blob, I'll go ahead and touch it with my finger, and that way I don't have any wet spots on there. All right. Good grief, that was a job. Zoom in. Now, I really can't do a pink bunny because of her outfit, so I'm going to go ahead and do that in a nice brown. And again, notice that I'm darkening that area here. And there are two areas that I'm going to touch it with the pink. We may lose it a little bit because it's right next to her bonnet. But again, guys, sweat the details, right? So I'm going to put a little pink nose. And a little bit of pink in the ear up here. But I'm angling the pink up, and it's a different from that bonnet color. Zoom in. So notice how I'm angling this up. And I made sure that the pink is different than what we've got in the bonnet. And then I'm coloring the eyelid brown. Now, with areas that are so small like this, you might be tempted just to, you know, go over it really quick with your pencil and be done with it. You don't want to do that. You really don't. Take your time, add your little embellishments, zoom out, zoom out, and see how nice everything's starting to look now. Yeah, just whispers of color, like Sherry said. I'm going to soften the skin color a little bit with my white because it's looking a little bit spotty from the paper. There we go. Much better. All right. So let's see what we can do with this top. So I'm going to put a base yellow on this with pencil. And I'm going to take a little bit of orange marker and put that color on, and then I'm going to just smudge it a little bit. I got it down into the bottom here, so I'll just go ahead and make that bottom orange as well. Now, as soon as I added that color over the gray, that's the reflection right now of this jingle bell. That really popped it. And then I'm just going to make these lines a little darker with my orange. There we go. Let's look at the whole thing now. Zoom out. Zoom out. Look how cool that looks. And you can see the glitter on the ribbon from when I was working this before. Isn't that cool? Okay, so it looks like we've got a box here with a ribbon on it, and this will be the last thing that I do. Worth the time, guys. Take the time. Zoom in. Now we've got a lot of pinks and reds here. I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and put a little green on there. But we need to be careful because we've got a wreath behind here. So let's see. And sometimes you just have to make a decision as to what's what. So I want this to be the outside of the box, and I'll go ahead and add, I'll make this green here. It's not 100% clear what is what, so we'll go ahead and just color this whole thing like this. And I don't want you to get frustrated when you run into an issue like this. In fact, I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to run this ribbon all the way down. And make this look like the corner of the box. Artistic decision. Now remember, these are only my placement colors. They're my base placement colors. So now I'm going to go ahead and take a darker green and color up the bow. Okay? Zoom in. And I'm coloring right over the edge where I put the pencil. And I'll go ahead and color over that black line that's coming this way. And now we've got a complete, in your eyes, that looks like a complete package. Completed package, no pun intended. And then I'm going to take a little blue. I'm using marker so I can smudge it. I'm doing a combination of smudge and blot. And then I'm going over with my blue again on some of these edges and along this line here. There we go. Zoom out. Let me darken in this bunny tail a little bit on the edge. Guys, do not get frustrated with this, okay? As Lila said, these areas are very small and they're very difficult. Not very difficult, excuse me, that's not right at all to say that. They just take a little more effort. and you'll come out with a great looking piece. Zoom out. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And I still don't know what this is, but what the hey. Oh. Anybody have any questions or comments? So if you have an area like that that wants to be a little difficult, take your time. Sherry mentioned that you just go ahead and put your whispers of color on there. I'm just cleaning up a little chalk here. Now, some areas like that, zoom in, that get a little bit light because you've got pencil or chalk or whatever over it. Just take your pen and put it back in. Remember, you're going to have to clean off your tip. So I've got some little rivets or whatever these are that got a little washed away. It takes you 2 seconds to clean this up. And if you've put this much time and effort in something like this, you want to take the time to do this as well. Oh, much better. Zoom out. Chalk. My favorite pastel. With the pencil over the top of it for the gray. Zoom out. Oh man, guys, look how cute that looks. And then this area of the present, same thing with your pen, is just go ahead and enhance your areas that got a little bit lost. And the same thing on the doll. And again, I'll add a little bling on her necklace. Zoom in. Zoom in. So we lost a little detail on the face. Go ahead and pop that back in. Okay? I love it. A little annoying to do, but it turned out beautifully. Zoom out. Zoom out. And that's what I wanted you to see. So we've got a terrific looking area right here. Zoom out. Look how cool that looks, guys. Okay. I think we're good for the evening. My desk looks like it blew up pencils and markers. Oh. And that is Vicky ringing the Christmas bells for you. Oh, all right, guys. Joyous, joyous coloring. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the stuff I did on the chameleon for you. I'm having way too much fun again. But be glad that I'm having fun, because that's what makes all of this fun. All right, guys. Love ya. Take it easy. I'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same place. And there's Vicky saying goodbye. Fun. All right, guys, you take care. Bye.